It's completely normal to face anxiety when you go into the field of tech. You feel like you aren't good enough to basically become a software engineer, particularly when you're like applying for a job, or even if you do get a job, you may feel still that like imposter syndrome when you're working with more competent engineers that are around you. The good news is though, is that this does go away over time. And I've heard like a lot of engineers face this, including myself. When I was starting out and learning how to develop, I felt really optimistic and like I can get a lot of the things that I wanted to develop done because I really didn't know a lot, but I felt like I could because I noticed that a lot of the people that were developing Minecraft plugins, because that's what I started with, creating Minecraft plugins, were able to create these Minecraft plugins. And so I figured that if they could create these plugins or they could develop this software, that I could also do it as well. But what I didn't know at the time is that a lot of the stuff that I was learning was really surface level stuff and it was necessary to know. But as I kind of delved further and further into the field, as I got like a job and started working with more competent engineers around me, I noticed all the things that I really didn't know. Like I knew all of a sudden, like my mind expanded. I began to become aware of all the things that I didn't know in the field. And then it became like I felt like really incompetent. Basically, I felt like I don't know why these people hired me. I felt like a massive imposter. Like when will they find out that I actually can't do what they hired me to do? And when I'm waiting for the other foot to drop, basically. But this kind of concept is very common, particularly in tech. It's probably common in other fields as well, but I've really realized it in the field of tech. And it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Essentially, you kind of start out and you go out really high and you are blindly optimistic and you feel like you know a lot. You feel like you are really on top of the world, like you know a lot of concepts and you have a bunch of knowledge in the field that you're kind of working towards learning, right? And you kind of go up and up and up, and then all of a sudden you maybe when you like get a job or as you kind of delve further into the field and you try and do something a bit more difficult, all of a sudden your mind expands a bit and you realize all the things that you don't know, and all of a sudden you kind of fall down like this valley where you kind of realize all the things that you don't know, and you feel like basically like a fish out of water. Like, when will the people that I'm working with realize that I'm actually not as competent as I kind of portrayed myself initially to be? And you start getting this like massive feeling of imposter syndrome. But the good news is that as you kind of start to learn, and as you kind of start to realize all these things that you don't know, and you can kind of wrap your head around like all these insane concepts that you never knew you didn't know before you started, you can move step by step forward and grab onto like the little bits of knowledge that you know you don't know. You can start to learn them, and all of a sudden you become more and more and more competent until eventually you kind of reach this like area where you actually know all the things that you know. You feel really confident in your knowledge, and you've kind of passed that valley of despair, basically, that valley where you're kind of really feeling like really anxious and you basically feel like an imposter. You've passed through that and you know a bunch of stuff at this point. And this has happened to me twice when I was trying to get into the Minecraft field and when I was trying to get into the web development field. When I was trying to get into the Minecraft field, I felt like I knew a bunch of stuff, like, hey, I can create all these Minecraft plugins, I can do all these things, I'm really kind of knowledgeable and competent in this area, so I began applying for jobs. Once I got a job, then I realized all the things that I didn't know, and then I was kind of like a fish out of water. And then over time I became really, really competent, and once I became really competent, I was really confident in my knowledge, and so then I knew all the things I didn't know before. And so then when applying for future jobs in that area, in the Minecraft field, I was able to kind of ask for more pay because I knew a bunch of stuff, and that massive feeling of imposter syndrome and anxiety went away. However, when I then stopped developing stuff for Minecraft and went into the web development field, I felt this exact same feeling again, but I knew exactly what to expect this time. I was able to kind of develop a bunch of websites and I knew a bunch of different tech, and I'm like, well, I think I'm good enough to get a job. So then I began applying. But then once I actually got a job, my mind expanded again and I realized all the things that I didn't know. And I was like, damn, like there's a lot of stuff I really don't know. And I'm slowly but surely, I haven't got there yet, but I'm slowly but surely gradually increasing my knowledge until the point where I feel like I am competent and I know what I know. And then I believe that's the point essentially where you become like a senior engineer because you know all the things you don't know. You don't need like a lot of guidance and help to kind of overcome these problems. But until that stage, I'm still kind of learning, still kind of escaping myself out of that like imposter syndrome feeling. And that kind of came out in my stand-ups, in my like daily stand-ups where I would have to meet for like 10 minutes. And then essentially what I would use that stand-up for, my like little 30-second to 1 minute slot, I would try and basically prove my worth to the company by essentially this is what I did yesterday, and I would list bang, 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 and this is what I'm going to do today, bang, 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 bang. And then it wasn't, and I was doing this for a few months, and it wasn't until my boss said, look, you don't, like, to everyone in the stand-up, my boss was like, you don't need to prove your worth here, just kind of try and summarize like what you did so that way everyone can understand it, even if it's like a 2-second thing. Don't try and overcomplicate it and list all the things you did do, because like at the end of the day, if you can do that, if you can do those things, you'll stay hired. If you can't, then you won't be, right? But it's not going to be like don't feel basically, he didn't say like that you're basically going to get fired, but don't feel all that pressure to prove your worth to everyone and that you are valued within the company because you can do all these things, bang, 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 bang. And it wasn't until he said that I kind of took a step back, realized that that was exactly what I was doing. I was trying to prove my worth, and then my anxiety around like whether or not I was going to be let go or all those things, because I didn't know a whole lot, but I felt like initially when I got the job that I did, that like it kind of faded away. So I'm very grateful for my boss for doing that and for actually calling that out, because that's exactly what I was doing. I was trying to prove my worth, and just knowing that that wasn't required at this particular time, like during stand-up, like it may be what you're doing as well if you're currently having stand-ups. It's a very good feeling to have, to just kind of relax yourself a bit, like chill, you're good, like just let us know what you did. You don't need to prove your worth. It's okay. So if you're feeling anxious right now, or you're feeling like an imposter in your current job, or you don't have a job yet and you feel like you don't know enough yet to be able to actually get the job, just know that that feeling does go away essentially once you get your first job and once you realize all the things you don't know, because that will likely happen to you. And then you slowly but surely climb out of that valley of despair, essentially. It doesn't last forever. It goes away the more confident that you become. And a lot of software engineers I know, including myself, have felt this. It's completely normal to feel this way. So don't feel like you're the only one who feels this way, because it's just not true. I hope this video helps you to ease your anxiety when you're working in tech and this feeling of imposter syndrome, because I know it's like a massive feeling that a lot of software engineers face. So I hope it generally does help you. It's not an easy field to work in, but it is a very rewarding one. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, don't do what you feel like doing, do what is required.